Tennessee versus Ole Miss in Knoxville. Tennessee faces Ole Miss. This should be a top 25 matchup. Ole Miss, of course, as we just mentioned, undefeated at the time of recording. They do have a game against Bryant coming up. Volunteers, top 10 in the net. It's a quad 2 opportunity for the Vols. It's a quad 1 opportunity for Chris Beard and company. Guys, what do you think is really like the significant factor between Ole Miss and Tennessee in this game? Blake, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's really just seeing if, you know, Ole Miss can continue what I think has been a pretty surprising, yeah, surprising is probably the right word, like offensive start. Like I think they've been better offensively than I thought they would be to this point. And now you go in and we said it earlier, like you're playing a Tennessee team that's going to push you around. They're going to be physical. You're not going to get a lot of easy opportunities. And the fact is, like, it is stunning to think that having the issues or questions we had with Ole Miss's offense coming into the season, not knowing who all was going to play and who wasn't, that they're a top 10 3-point shooting team. It's just, I don't even know what to say to that. Like, it's bizarre world. Like, I don't know how that happened, but they are. And, Tennessee, though, as we know, they will just make you take a lot of ugly shots. They'll force you into running offense the way further out than you want to run it. And so I think that's probably going to be a challenge for this Ole Miss team and what will be their first game away from home against an elite team, right? They played an elite team at home against Memphis, but this is just a different animal. And I think that's where you may start to see some of those things offensively take a little bit of a step back for Ole Miss, but they could also ugly it up and make this a rock fight. And, maybe we see some of the old Tennessee offensive tendencies and this thing winds up being 58 to 56 or something. But I tend to think this is going to be a little bit of a struggle for Ole Miss just in terms of finding type of offense they found against some of these other teams.
I am praying for not a 58-55 rock fight. That would
Mm.
be some gross basketball to start conference play out with. Maddie, what are your thoughts in this game?
Yeah, so Blake mentioned it is at TBA, which I think is going to be huge for the Vols. The big thing that I'm keying in on is going to be Ole Miss defense. Their defensive rating isn't as good as Tennessee. They've got a negative rebound differential. So I think, looking over kind of the Ole Miss team, really the only game I've paid much attention to in them this season is that game against Memphis. And their big hope and prayer was Jamarian Sharp. He really wasn't that impressive to me. And I think that's going to be, who people are going to focus on and say, well, Jamarian Sharp's in there. He's 7 foot tall and he's, going to be
Blocking
done.
everything. He's the SEC leader in blocks. Like, I mean, like, I don't know what you mean. Like, you need more to be impressed by with that. He's an elite rim protector.
Yeah, it was more his offensive style, I guess. And I don't think it's going to hold up well against Tennessee.
Okay. Well, I do have the front court circled as an area of interest because of that rebound differential and the rim protection that Sharp does offer for Ole Miss. But yeah, Balls are winning the boards at +5 a night. So there's about 7 rebound swing between these two teams. I think that's going to be an interesting on how the game is played on the glass. So let's get to the picks. KenPom has this 77-64 at 88% for the Vols. Now, I think this one's closer than what the computer's suggesting because I don't think the trend line is exactly right yet for KenPom and where they're adjusting to Ole Miss because I think they're a little bit better than their KenPom rating. But how do you guys see this one going and what's your pick in this game? Blake, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this will be a little closer than that number would suggest. To me, this feels like, an 8 to 10 type win for Tennessee, something like that, where Ole Miss does enough to keep themselves in the game. And I think again, whether it is the offense that just is able to crack through Tennessee's defense, or maybe it is the Ole Miss defense that's able to kind of slow some things down or gets one of those traditional Tennessee lulls on offense, and that helps Ole Miss a little bit. But I think they'll keep it close. To me, these are two teams that again will be pretty physical. I am hoping that this does not turn into a free throw shooting contest in game one because it just we know in the SEC there will be plenty of those this year. We don't need to start
Oh,
the
yeah.
slate off with one of those. But yeah, I take Tennessee probably 8 to 10 points, something like that.
Maddie, who are you going with?
Yeah, I'm going to go Tennessee as well. Like you guys said, I think it's going to be a little closer. I was thinking somewhere 75 to 68, 69. The Vols taking the win.
All right, so I'm going to make it a clean sweep on Tennessee, which we all know what that means. What's been the trend lately is when we're unanimous, things go the opposite direction, it seems like so. But I am going with Tennessee. Logically, I do think the rebound and defense makes a huge impact in this game for the Vols.